All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're diving deep into Adani Enterprises Limited. What's the story they're telling about themselves? Well, we're going straight to the source, their 2024-25 annual report. It's a fascinating look at how one of India's biggest players views its own mission and where it's headed next.
So the first thing you see right on the cover is this phrase, strength with resilience. And you know, this isn't just some catchy slogan. It's really the theme for the entire report. It sets the tone for everything we're about to see. A story of huge ambition for sure, but also one that's been forged through some pretty big challenges.
Okay, so let's get to the core of it. What exactly is Adani Enterprises, or AEL? Well, according to them, they're not just another big conglomerate. They see themselves as something different.
And that something different is this idea of being a business incubator. Think about that for a second. The whole strategy is to find a gap, a need within India, and then build a whole new business from scratch to fill it. They nurture it, they grow it, and once it's strong enough to stand on its own, they spin it off as its own independent leading company. It's literally a factory for building other businesses.
And look, this isn't some newfangled idea they just cooked up. The report lays out this journey over 3 whole decades. You've got the first phase from 95 to 2015, which was all about development. Then they shifted into operations. And now they say they're in a phase of sustainable value creation. Basically, making sure these businesses they've built become giants that can sustain themselves for the long haul.
So the big question is, does this incubator model actually work? Well, according to them, the proof is in this number right here, $90.5 billion US. That's absolutely massive. It's the combined market cap of all the companies they've successfully built and spun off. For HAL, this is the scorecard. This is them saying, see, it works.
All right, so what kind of businesses are we talking about here? Let's take a look at the portfolio this incubator has built. It's pretty much a who's who of India's core infrastructure.
Just to give you a sense of the sheer scale we're dealing with, take their ports business. This was one of their first big incubated companies. Today, it handles 27% of all the cargo that moves through India. I mean, think about that. More than a quarter of the country's entire trade volume. That is a gigantic footprint.
Or how about this? Their energy solutions business, they're managing a portfolio of 22.8 million smart meters. We're talking about bringing the country's power grid into the 21st century, literally one house at a time.
And you know, they're not just resting on their laurels. Their ambition is just getting bigger. Right now, they're building what's set to be the world's largest renewable energy plant in a single location. I mean, not just India's largest, the world's largest. And that tells you everything you need to know about their bet on green energy.
And man, is this portfolio diverse. We're talking about a massive network of airports, including the one in Mumbai, which hit a huge milestone. They're building roads, like the Ganga Expressway. They're also building the digital infrastructure with a huge pipeline of data centers. Then you have heavy industry, like one of the world's biggest copper smelters. And they're even trying to tie it all together for you and me with a digital super app called Adani One. It's a lot.
Okay, so the report isn't just a highlight reel of successes. It makes it really clear that this journey hasn't exactly been a walk in the park. A huge chunk of the report is dedicated to this theme of resilience, especially when you consider the intense scrutiny they've been under.
And this quote from the chairman really says it all. Even in the face of fierce headwinds and relentless scrutiny, we have never retreated. It goes on. We have recalibrated, reimagined, and we have become more formidable, more unbreakable, more stronger, and more resilient. Wow. I mean, that is a seriously defiant statement. They're basically saying that all the pressure didn't break them. It actually made them stronger.
So how do they back that up? Well, they point to the numbers. Here's a quick snapshot of their financials for the year. You see the massive asset base, the solid earnings, but the key point they really want you to see is down at the bottom. Their net worth is higher than their net external debt. In their eyes, this is the proof that they're on solid financial ground.
And it's not just their own numbers they're pointing to. They also highlight their domestic credit rating AA with a stable outlook. For anyone who doesn't follow this stuff, that's basically a third-party report card from financial agencies saying, yep, these guys look financially healthy. It's a really important signal for investors.
Now, a really big piece of this whole resilience story is their focus on ESG. That's environmental, social, and governance stuff. It's a huge deal for big companies these days, and they put a number on it, saying that almost a quarter of all the electricity they use now comes from renewable energy. That's a significant jump.
And they don't just stop there. They list out some very specific achievements to show they're serious.
Things like managing 99% of their waste through reuse and recycling. A huge one, 0 employee fatalities. They're screening all their major suppliers on ESG factors, and they're spending a significant amount on corporate social responsibility. They're really trying to show this isn't just talk, it's action.
Okay, so that's the story so far. But what about the future? Where is this giant business incubator placing its bets next? Well, the report gives us a pretty clear roadmap.
It really boils down to 4 huge areas. First, green hydrogen. That's a massive gamble on the future of clean energy. Next, data centers, which are basically the backbone of India's whole digital transformation. They're also doubling down on airports, trying to turn them into more than just places you fly from. And finally, primary industries, with a big focus on copper and PVC. The strategy there is pretty clear. Help India rely less on imports for these critical materials.
And these aren't just vague ideas either. The report sets some seriously ambitious targets for 2030. We're talking about producing 1 million metric tons of green hydrogen a year, hitting 1 gigawatt of data center capacity, and get this, targeting 50,000 megawatts of renewable energy capacity. I mean, that is an astronomical amount of power.
So, when you put it all together, the message they're sending is crystal clear. The whole strategy from day one has been to build businesses that they see as essential for making India a more resilient, powerful nation. It all ties back to that nation-building idea.
Which leaves us with a really interesting question to think about. If a company sees itself as an incubator for a nation's growth and it makes resilience its absolute core strategy, what does the future really look like? They're tying their own fate directly to the country's. It's a powerful idea, and it'll be fascinating to see how that story unfolds.